Hello guys, this is Mr. Jinx here with another video, and I got some news that just really pisses me off. Alright, this first news article is from WrestlingWorld.com. The WWE has no plans for Keith Lee on Raw. well, Vince, if you have no plans for Keith Lee, why'd you call him up? I mean, really. Or you call him up, have him come out wearing a singlet and crappy new theme music. Here's his entrance music. The first half has the Basking in Glory part in it. But the second half is music that you would hear in WWE 2K custom creations. And then on top of that, every match that he's been in, it's always been a run-in, disqualification, or something like that. The only match has one clean was against Andrade and Randy Orton at Payback. But they've done nothing with him. I don't know why. This guy was awesome in NXT. He's great in the ring. He's great on the mic. They could have done something with him, but they didn't. I expected that, but it's just a shame. See what the article has to say. After winning 2 titles in NXT, the former champion has passed on the reins of the main roster, making a sensational debut with a lot of victories. He made a sensational debut with a big victory against Randy Orton. Initially, it seemed that Mr. McMahon was focusing a lot on the black talent of Monday Night Raw, especially Keith Lee. However, on Keith Lee's future, it's been stated that the creative team of the WWE has already exhausted the ideas for the former NXT champion. Now Keith Lee seems to be going in some type of heel direction, but nothing is known about what they want to do with Keith Lee. They have no idea where to place Keith Lee at the moment. He's been on a list of people who take a momentary push against big stars, but then they don't stay long on that list. Turns out Dave Meltzer has compared Keith Lee's rise to earlier ones of Aleister Black and Andrade athletes who, just like Lee, took a keen interest in them for a few weeks and then fell out of the blue in the mid-Raw carding. The former NXT champion could soon face some fate, unfortunately. Keith Lee is in a strange position on Raw. They are teasing a big push for him, but yet it has yet landed him anywhere. On the Clash of Champions card, which the event already happened, he wasn't on there. The match against Drew McIntyre ended with a retribution attack, and now fans are left waiting to see what's to come with him. Well, Vince, I mean, you really are clueless. You don't know what to do with this guy. Dude, it's simple. Look, if you want to call him up, right, put him in a feud with Randy Orton, have him beat Randy Orton. That's great. And after that, I would put him in a WWE title match against Drew McIntyre. At Clash of Champions, Drew McIntyre wins. Then I'd have Keith Lee go on a feud with Seth Rollins. He had to win that one. And I'll start building up his momentum for a Royal Rumble. And then after that, they'll start figuring out what we're going to do with him at WrestleMania. Maybe a possible Money in the Bank ladder match appearance the next year. Maybe have him win it. Maybe put this guy in the United States title contention with Bobby Lashley. You gotta do something with this guy. If you don't have any plans for him, then don't call him up. He's just like every other NXT guy that had called for the main roster with all this promise. Everyone makes a big fuss about him. Oh, they're gonna be big stars. They're gonna be draws. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that, but they never do. It's often a shame because NXT is called the future of the WWE, and you think that these guys, since they're called the future, would do great things on these shows, but they are not. They've been left in the back in catering. They've been buried. They've been destroyed, obliterated. It's just amazing to see how these guys that possess such great talent are in these positions. It's just amazing. The shows have really, really low ratings. Like the ratings should be near the 3s and 4s, but no, they're getting a 1.8. Even lower than that, 1.5. Hell, even AEW is somewhat catching up. They got 1 million a couple weeks ago. If they can grow that number, we got competition. Back to what I said earlier, NXT may be the future, but the WWE never said we were going to have a bright future. We're in a dark future. A dark, dystopian, apocalyptic future. I like that. Another news article. I'm not done yet, folks. This one also pains me. Aleister Black and Andrade possibly losing their pushes on Raw. I think that's pretty much correct. See what this article says. It's Wrestling Incorporated. Aleister Black and Andrade could be in the middle of losing their pushes on Raw. Well, I don't know why. It was reported on the Wrestling Observer that when Paul Heyman lost his job as Raw Executive Director earlier this year, word is that Aleister Black and Andrade were two guys who could be in trouble, as the WWE Chairman Vince McMahon didn't necessarily see a lot in them compared to what Heyman saw in them. Yeah, Heyman was fired because he couldn't beat AEW. AEW beat SmackDown the ratings, so he fired Eric Bischoff. Raw's ratings continued to tank. What did Vince do? He fired Paul Heyman. He's not out of the company, but he's not the executive director. And what Paul Heyman wanted to do was kind of give the spotlight to younger talent. But I guess Vince didn't see that, and he started to give the job to Bruce Pritchard. Wants to push all the old timers and part timers and legends like Christian, Big Show, Edge, Randy Orton, Lesnar, maybe The Rock if he comes back. But Vince, what do you not see in Aleister Black? I mean, this guy's got the mic skills, he's got the wrestling skills, the look, the interesting. What are you not seeing him? What are you seeing? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing? What am I seeing that you aren't seeing? I don't get it. As far as Andrade goes, I can see why he's losing his push. I'm not that big of an Andrade fan. I was in NXT, but ever since he's come to my roster, man, dude, they've done nothing with him. All he does is cheats to win against a bunch of mid-carders. I'm fine with him cheating to win. If it gets big name talent, that's fine. But if he needs help to win over a mid-card, a jobber like Sin Cara or a Cedric Alexander or a Ricochet, that's not good. I tell you that this guy can't win. If he can't win, I can't fully support him. Back away. We noted how last night's Raw indicated that Zelina Vega is breaking away from Andrade Angel Garza. That is true. Garza and Andrade lost the Clash Champions, and Andrade broke up with Zelina Vega. So now he's on his own. Vince has been high up on Garza, and it was reported that early in the summer Vince saw him as a young version of Eddie Guerrero. He does resemble Eddie Guerrero. Now, where does this leave Andrade? That's not good. Apparently those two might feud with one another with Garza going over. And I don't know what's going to happen with Andrade. If you look what happened last night on Raw, Andrade broke up with Zelina Vega, out came Keith Lee, and squashed Andrade. So you want me to take this guy seriously on his own, but didn't you have him job out to Keith Lee? That's ridiculous. Have Keith Lee squash a local competitor and have Andrade, continue the momentum that he might have. I see Andrade as a Miniature version of Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio, he's awesome. If you want a foreign Hispanic aristocrat heel, that's Del Rio. And Andrade could be that. You give him Ricardo Rodriguez, you give him the limousine, you give him the pyro, he's gold. But apparently Vince doesn't see anything in him. Oh well. As far as Aleister Black goes, he's currently feuding with Kevin Owens. Picked up the win over Buddy Murphy in July, but then he lost to Seth Rollins. And then what Seth Rollins did, he smashed his eyeball into the steel steps. And that led Aleister Black to go on a hiatus. Apparently it's a sales and type of injury angle. Vince McMahon put him on hiatus because he thought that something was missing. Hear this, folks. Vince thought something was missing from Aleister Black. That's why he took him off TV. Vince, he's kind of right. Aleister Black is missing something. That's his mystique. You know why he's missing his mystique? Because you killed it, Vince. For a year and a half, this guy's been doing dark room promos. Pick a fight with me. That's what he said. When he did stuff for a year and a half, people lose interest in you. Not only that, he was out in the ring squashing jobbers each and every single week. Could not care for that. He's faced no major competition except for AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens. And he lost. Yeah, he lost a couple weeks ago. He got pinned clean. Last night he lost foolishly by striking the referee. So he got disqualified. And on top of that, he's wearing a stupid eye patch. Eye patch like this. Ridiculous. You know, if you would have had plans for this guy, you push him in a serious role. You had him, you gave this guy some opportunities. Gave this guy some room for error and have him improve on the mistakes and stuff he needs to correct himself on. Maybe this guy could have been up here, that he's down here. He's a failure. Vince McMahon does not want to push talent. And that's the worst part of it, the WWE. They neglect talent. No, I get it. They don't have to push talent. You know, no one can touch them. No one can stop them. They don't need to push talent. They're not in dire straits. And they don't want to push talent. They don't want someone becoming like Steve Austin or The Rock or Brock Lesnar, become bigger than a brand, and then leave and take their talents elsewhere. Vince doesn't want that. Instead of creating stars, he just creates props that he can move around different places. And, they don't have to build stars. They don't need to. They don't want to. And they don't know how to. I mean, you have the creative writers writing the scripts for Raw and SmackDown. You have 30 writers. That's a lot of ideas being floated around. Once a chance of your idea being on the final script, it's very small. Plus, Vince comes in the back and rips up the script and writes the show himself. If I'm a creative writer, what do? You gotta cater to Vince. You're not running the shows for the fans. You're running the shows for one man only. That's Vince McMahon. If you don't give him what he wants, then your worker's not going to be on the TV show. But, hey man, WWE, they need to start pushing talent. Because if AEW, if they can start hitting that perfect formula, they can start beating you in the ratings. They can start taking the money away from you. What happens when AEW gets that Stone Cold Steve Austin or John Cena or The Rock? Then you're really going to be in trouble. Well, there you have it. Vince McMahon doesn't want to push talent. Aleister Black, Andrade, Keith Lee losing their pushes. I hate you, Vince. I hate you. WWE, you guys suck. Well, bye everyone. Stay tuned for my next video. Could be tomorrow, could be next week. I don't know.